Anyhow, getting into 2K atmosphere between these two. Spawning over in the top bottom left, representing Ting, it is Neeb.
And in the top right-hand side, he needs your energy. I feel like he already has it. It's the MCanning.
Only a man with the true power and aura of MCanning could have a 64% prediction win against Neeb, honestly. I mean, tell me somebody else that could have that besides like a Sarah or like a Reyna or something.
No one in North America. Yeah, no one in North America is supposed to have that percentage against Neeb.
We have a quick look at the current rankings here. So MCanning currently sitting in third place, but it's very tied in that midfield, which, you know, he has taken out Disc already, which is a big deal, given Disc his only loss here. But yeah, I'm wondering what the rest of his matches are. That being said, this game, totally normal here. Double gateway on the high ground for both players, so no cheeky one gate fast expand shenanigans going on.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to the first couple of units that these players make. I imagine Neeb will probably go for the safer route. Maybe MCanning tries something funky, but for the most part, I think these two players, I look at their face right now and I'm thinking Stalkers. Or do you think there's a Sentry mixed in? Probably no Adepts.
I like that when you look at two Americans' faces, you think Stalkers. Like, I know what you mean, like the unit Stalkers, but I was like, Cats, that's really mean to call these two Stalkers over here, you know? But yeah, I think from what we saw from MCanning yesterday, he was really willing to kind of do a normal build, but then mix it up a bit. And here, going for 2 Adepts. Seeing him against Disc, he went into like 8 Adepts or something, and it looked like Disc should have been ahead, but MCanning just played so well. So I'm really curious how he's going to do that against Neeb.
Yeah, something very interesting here on the side of Neeb is he actually started a Sentry, cancelled it, and made a Stalker, so goes double Stalkers now. I'm not sure if he saw something that makes him feel like the double Stalker opening is going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually better, whether he knows it or not, against this double Adept opening. And look at MCanning, he is going into more Adepts here, so absolutely gunning for it. Oh, did you see that from Neeb? He was producing 2 Zealots, wondering if he's going to get scouted by something, and then he's like, cancel, Nexus on the way.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Also a Stargate, so that makes more sense. It's more consistent with canceling that Sentry, so maybe he scouted something that wanted or made him want to go for the Stargate on the side of MCanning. I'm not sure what that would be, but yeah, MCanning has gone up to 4, soon to be 6 Adepts, Benny. This could actually work out, right? Because Neeb doesn't have that Sentry.
Okay, so I'm thinking that you kind of want to play against a guy with Sentry when you do this kind of stuff.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
So like this kind of thing here. So I was talking with Kevin about it yesterday or the day before, and I was like, okay, so what does MCanning really not want to run into? It's like maybe Blink Stalkers is really bad for him and that kind of stuff. But I think everything that Neeb's doing so far, like the Oracle and getting some Stalkers out in an early base, I think he's actually in pretty okay shape here. I feel like the Adepts really don't want to run into the Oracle.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, that is the one thing that the Sentry does give that I was kind of crediting Neeb for was the Scout. But if the Oracle gets it anyway, Neeb should be more than ready for this. And I think that MCanning was hoping to make enough Adepts that he shades up the ramp and the probe blocking with the pylon potentially or the shield battery is not going to be enough, and it can get one shot, right? Like, I think that's what MCanning was hoping for here, but having Neeb scouted it may not. Oh, Neeb not paying attention, Ben! All of the Adepts are actually going to get inside of the base of Neeb. This is insane damage to start.
I mean, insane on both sides. I didn't think he was going to let this happen, and cancels the gateway straight away. And the Adepts, they're just here, there, and everywhere. Maybe shading all of them to this natural, maybe not the right call. Even whipping the Oracle back with a recall over here. Neeb will survive, but holy crap. 7 workers killed and 11 workers killed from MCanning. I mean, I didn't think this was really going to work out that well for him, but I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to work out really well, but I mean, because Neeb wasn't really paying attention, in spite of scouting the Adepts with the Oracle, maybe he didn't see the shades or something of the likes. We've been talking about how Neeb has seemed a little bit off in the last few days at least, and this really speaking to that. I mean, I'm with you, right? Like, he had everything that he needed, I think, to repel this, or at least not take as much damage as he did, just not paying attention at the crucial moment.
Yeah. Because I'm definitely looking at this and I'm like, well, if he pylon walled that off, like he could have had, because he flew over it, man. Like you're totally right. He flew absolutely over it. And this Oracle runs out of energy over here before it can do much more. But the other Oracle, I mean, these Adepts are kind of sitting ducks at this point. Like you'd love to be able to get damage done with them, but Neeb's just not giving them the time of day and will be picking these off. But I'm looking at that work account. MCanning, his blink is later, but everything else is just looking fly.
Yeah, he's also going to have his own sentry for kind of hallucinating and scouting, where Neeb has been preoccupied with the oracles, but now gathering a little bit more energy for them so that he can go back in and maybe poke and try to stabilize on the economic front. And MCanning hasn't even allocated resources to something like a battery at the main. Instead, he's just leaving the 3 stalkers there, and this might work out better against the 2 oracles. So they will get repelled. A couple of workers go down. Not much more than that. Or does even a worker go down?
I think a single worker he got there, maybe, but MCanning definitely shook his head that the low health Oracle was the one that he didn't manage to focus fire. He's getting a pretty good scout off with these Oracles, it has to be said. Like he's getting to know when the third's going down, exactly getting to see that his opponent is going for Stalkers. I think he also saw the Twilight Council and the Forge here, which he did, yes. So that's also nice that he knows that he's not up against anything too crazy.
The enemy has discovered.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the Khan is in a very strong position, but Neeb has made a little bit more workers than him in recent history, it seems, plus that one that he killed. So he's closing that gap slowly. He is a little bit later to his third Neeb, that is, and now moving out or pushing out with these stalkers that didn't really find the timing as soon as the blink was done. So now MCanning has caught up on that regard. And I think so.
I mean, this is nice. Like even getting some denied mining. A little bit of misfire there with one of the Oracles. Oh, that's actually a big snipe. Like just reducing that Oracle count by 1. But Neeb, he's looking to just try and shave off units here, there, and everywhere, which, considering he was behind like 10 workers not too long ago, he's absolutely catching up, Cats.
Yeah, MCanning's gonna go and transfer a lot of probes to his third now, so he's not gonna be falling back on that regard. Neeb just starting his +1. MCanning will have a strong +1 timing and charge finishing at the same time. He has also added a few gateways and is adding a couple more. Do you think we're gonna see a push from the Khan here, Benny?
Absolutely could do. Let's wait and see, though. I think MCanning the other day, he was very willing to just sit back and just kind of go up to the macro game. These 2 Adepts, I don't see any movement from Neeb at all so far.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. I mean, it isn't the same Neeb that we're used to seeing just dominate, right? Like a few things have definitely been a bit shaky.
Yeah, very fair to call this moves uncharacteristic. If it was just 1, then great, but it's been happening game through game, right? Like first in this same game, we've seen like 2 or maybe even 3 moves that are just not what we expect from Neeb. Of course, we hold them to extremely high standards, right? It's not like that's a difficult or an easy thing to catch 2 Adepts coming from the sidelines, but the fact that he's reacting as late as he is very surprising.
But also, yeah, we're gonna be critical just because we do hold him to such high levels, but he has caught up back into this game. I'm no longer like, wow, Neeb's super far behind. If anything, the fact that he's almost, in fact, he is overtaken in probes. He is behind in the upgrade still, but he's adding on decent units, and it's not as if I'm looking at MCanning's army and being like, wow, that's unbeatable, man. Like, he can definitely do this.
Oh, certainly can. I mean, MCanning is still getting ahead in upgrades. Neeb did finish his own +1 and hasn't started his +2. So MCanning actually accruing a little bit of an advantage there that Neeb may not be able to contend with down the line. So I love that from the Khan. Neeb is, however, now he just starts his own upgrades. And MCanning is the one who is making a Dark Shrine as well. So kind of feels like he's getting to that later game and the tech a little bit faster than Neeb is, even if the supply and the probe counts are now kind of evenish.
Yeah, Neeb probably felt like, okay, I can't skip any corners here where I've already taken so much damage. And he is kind of going around the map, and he is shaving off quite a few units, actually, which, you know, may not seem like a lot now, but it does stack up. Neeb already on 6 gases, is now going for his Robo Bay as well. So even though you could say that MCanning was ahead tech-wise, maybe Neeb's doing a bit of a leapfrog here and just not just catching up, but overtaking.
Yeah, if he gets to the Disruptors, then things are going to get a little bit more difficult for MCanning. I mean, if we look at the armies right now, there is really no AoE on either side, and Disruptors are the type of units that really benefit from hitting center mass on more units. The more units, obviously, the higher the chance that the disruptors are going to be effective. So I'm surprised to see MCanning, the god of disruptors, the lord of disruptors himself, not really transition as quickly as Neeb has. I would like to see him try to do something. Maybe he's been expecting an attack, but if an attack doesn't come and you kind of stay a little bit low on tech, I feel like you have to make something happen. Now splitting his army, I kind of like this. Will it be enough?
I do like how Neeb's handling all these fights. Wow, that's a big warp in. And for every little mistake that Neeb did make, he also made 10 great moves for every single one. And now he's starting to get ahead in this game. And it does feel like he's outpacing MCanning, right?
Yeah. Definitely does. Is there an observer?
Yeah. Yes, Nobs. I was just thinking the same. I checked it earlier. I was like, that DT could have went Rambo in the bases, but he did put up a few cannons, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, at least to chase back that army, it would have been pretty effective. But now Neeb with double disruptor production, a load of zealots, has helped them to stabilize here. A very cool stasis ward in case of, I guess, DT blink into his mineral line. So Neeb, that's the kind of move that I look at and I'm like, okay, this is Neeb.
And by the way, just bring up that resources lost tab for a moment here. This started off with a big MCanning advantage early on. Now look at it. Like, that is kind of ridiculous how well he's been trading to get back into this.
Yeah, but it feels like it hasn't been enough of any crucial fight or any commitment from either side. Like you said, it's just been shaving off units from Neeb, mostly in part due to MCanning's indecisions, right? Or just like sending a zealot here and there and kind of just donating units here and there. So, I mean, MCanning not completely out of this, but it's not looking too great. And actually, his disruptor acting against him. Neeb, I feel like he could siege this area.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 5 disruptors to just the 2 of MCanning. I mean, MCanning does have more disruptors on the way, so trying to buy time here. Oh, look at this Oracle, by the way, just single-handedly. Was that 3 DTs? No way. That's pricey, man.
Very pricey indeed, so that Oracle's gonna run out of energy, but he's gonna be happy. And another 4th zealot donation, and it feels a lot like that's been happening so much throughout this game from the side of the Khan, who is now kind of beginning to stabilize in terms of army supply. At least he's starting to catch up because, you know, Neeb is maxed and for no other reason than that. But yeah, I mean, it's still gonna come to the clash of the armies. Neeb has more room to make mistakes. He is the one out on the map. He can always remax behind this. He is gonna be trailing behind as far as the 5th base is concerned. But
I'm so scared for both of them here because I'm like, that is so risky with the disruptors. But it's okay. So he knows where MCanning's disruptors are, and MCanning knows where Neeb is apparently. Look at Neeb's disruptors over to the top. I mean, this could get real crazy. Oh, he just broke a lot of MCanning.
Yeah, good blink forward. Oh, center mass of the zealots. So one of the disruptors of Neeb will intercept everything from MCanning, and MCanning is taking a lot of damage in the meanwhile as well. So it's not just losing army to those disruptors that do end up falling and getting the count reset, but also a full base worth of mining. Oh, but Neeb's not gonna finish it apparently, Ben. So maybe not the worst thing in the world for MCanning.
Yeah, but definitely not the best, right? Like that resources lost habit. It kind of stayed the same with them both losing a lot, just a lot of economy as well. And Neeb has a bank, man. Like the good old Neeb bank coming in. Zest, move on over.
Yeah, for sure. The good thing for MCanning is he's gonna be able to replenish those probes a little bit faster. He now has a 5th online as well. Difficult to mine it, of course, because he's down to 56 workers after that attack. But I am honestly a little bit surprised that Nexus actually doesn't get focused fired on the way out from Neeb. Maybe he felt like he didn't have enough firepower, like enough immortals or something like that to really just push on the gas pedal there. But as it stands, MCanning with odds still in this game. He can still do it.
He can. I mean, every time you have a disruptor, it's like, all right, miracles can happen.
Ooh!
Oh, fancy boy, blinking away from that revelation.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff there from the Khan. Preempting, right? Like, it's like the revelation's pretty much instant, so he really just was baiting and knew that he could get it. Oh, and the second DT, beautiful from the Khan. He's gonna get this cancelled, no doubt. There's no more energy on that Oracle. Oh, kill! Yeah.
I'm just looking at the top of the screen, these supplies and what have you. It's really close. I do worry for MCanning though. Like when it gets to this situation when Neeb has a lot of stalkers, which he micros really well, has done the whole game. and a bunch of disruptors and his own DTs. Like, that could really start throwing the game awry.
Yeah, most certainly. In terms of income, it's still Neeb with a slight advantage. It feels like in terms of gas as well. Somewhat surprising. I guess the Khan hasn't retaken the gases at his fourth. He doesn't have one of the gases mining even at his natural base by the looks of it. And he doesn't have the gases at his fifth either. So, yeah, there lies in the disadvantages for MCanning, who's trying to catch up in terms of minerals. And this is actually a good fight to start for the Khan. Is there observers here, Ben? If there isn't, this could be good for the Khan.
I mean, these disruptors, they're trying to make short work of these DTs, and they're just dying right before, but somehow does see them. I don't know whether that was a revelation or what have you, but this is getting crazy.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy. Neeb with a huge supply advantage. There is an observer here for the Khan, so these DTs will be revealed. And the Khan will be able to land the Disruptor Novas regardless, but it's Neeb on the other side of the map. 4 Disruptors from the Khan that could save his life, but no, instead one of them will fall, and they will get revelated as well. So Neeb is well aware of that threat. MCanning is going to choose to pull back and try to consolidate his army to defend here.
Yeah, look at this. Oh, lovely blink with the DTs, but nice position with these Disruptor shots. MCanning is running for his life, but the supply, it really felt that once Neeb got back into this game, like I'm really worried for MCanning now going ahead in this series, because this was a game where MCanning was so far ahead, it felt like.
Yeah, very cool opening from him. I mean, uncharacteristic mistakes from Neeb let the Khan capitalize and get ahead, but it's been all Neeb for a little while, and now I'm starting to lose energy and hope for the Khan here. I mean, there's not very many Disruptors here, Ben. Only 2 versus 9.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. And these Disruptor shots from Neeb are definitely dealing damage. MCanning even blowing himself up here just to stop his Zealots from dying to these Disruptor shots, but you can't chase an army like this, and I think MCann knows that. I see it on his face, and GG.
Yeah, he's not pleased, the Khan. He knows that he had it. We're seeing the same type of head shake that Denver was giving us towards the end of that series against the Laser, and Neeb will actually be able to close that game out finally. But it was difficult for Neeb, right? Like, the Khan can bounce back, surely.
Yeah, you must remember that season where MCanning like finished first in his group or something, and he had to beat Neeb to do it. So he knows he's capable. I do worry for him, like I really do. The fact that that game was about as good an opening as you could wish for against Neeb, and he wasn't able to close it. We just saw Neeb slowly creeping back into it, and it was like, my little heart, I was like, if I was cheering on like horses and I see the slow horse get ahead, and I'm like, come on, stay ahead, and then that freaking speed bolt and Neeb just, it was a bit brutal actually.
Yeah, it was a little bit brutal, but Ben, you can't have a comeback if you don't first lose the first game, right? Like that's really what it comes down to. Is MCanning has this figured out. I mean,
MCanning's making a show for us,
Of course, yeah.
Like
the best possible show starts with a loss, no doubt about that.
Absolutely, he's just making it interesting.
So we'll
don't
see
worry,
if
fans.
Yeah. Don't you worry, it's coming. Romanticide. Everyone knows the Khan is a little bit of a romantic man himself. He is the All-American Protoss. This is basically North America, Romanticide, so it should be pretty good then.
Romanticide is basically North America?
Yeah.
Where did this come from, Cats? If I thought about Romanticide, maybe I'd go with France, and stuff.
But France is basically North America, if you really think about it.
Or what's that old map called? Like Acid Slums or something? That's France.
All right.
And anywhere where Todd came from, it's got to be some horrible place, anyhow. It could also be like a volcano. It's too hot, or something like that for Todd. Anyhow, spawning over in the top left of Romanticide, it is Neeb.
And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it is MCanning. Let's go. About to make a comeback for the ages.
Yeah, I like MCanning when he played against Disc on this map. He went for this pretty weird build, actually. I think he he delayed stuff and went for a robo first, then just played very stocky and solid. And Disc went for blink and tried to get a lot of damage done, but just couldn't. Like, MCanning was just too solid, if I remember it correctly. So I'm curious if he pulls out a similar thing here against Neeb, because the Adept stuff, hey, that actually worked out really damn well. I won't mind him trying something like that again, but yeah, we'll wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see indeed. I mean, first 2 units, Ben. Do we play the guessing game here? I wonder what Neeb is looking out for as well. Like, what informs his decision in terms of like what units he makes here.
All right, this map, that's a funny proxy pylon from MCanning. So this map, it usually does tend to lend itself more to like sentry play, like Stalker Sentry or Stalker Stalker. You can obviously go Adept on anything. It's just this map in particular tends to lend itself to a bit of a more macro-centric style. They're both opening for the Stalker Stalker.
Yeah, and that's lovely. There is a ramp leading into all 3 bases, but there is no real ramp leading into the natural base, so Stalkers can still be pretty effective on the aggression should either player choose to make more than 2. But I think, like you are kind of saying, Ben, this map, one of the more defensive maps out there. Neeb very concerned about scouting what units MCanning is gonna have made, and MCanning is actually just gonna target that pylon first and foremost. Do you feel like you need to target that pylon? I wonder if he could have just moved past it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few players where they just kind of hide their Stalkers in their main for a little bit, and then they just wait for the pylon to be cancelled, and then it's like you have no idea what you're up against.
Right.
But the issue with that is your Stalkers do get on the map to scout a lot later than your opponent. That poor little probe man, but he scouts the fake proxy pylon as well. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a good thing for Neeb, who is proxying a pylon himself, and he's moving away from it, so he might be also either just looking around before going back to it, or faking a proxy pylon for a potential hallucination to follow from MCanning, and that will be a possibility, as MCanning did go for the sentry. There is a shield battery on the way. I'm not sure that it will be ready in time for this 4-stalker poke that we were talking about just earlier. 3 sentries, though, might just be enough regardless.
Yeah, I think MCanning set up pretty decently. Oh, Neeb just went for the free pickings over here. Didn't go for the kill or anything like that. Just gonna put a pylon there, buddy. All right, go kill it. Take it out.
Yeah, that's gonna work out well for him. It's a freebie indeed. There is a robo now on the side of MCanning, and a Twilight Archives on the side of Neeb, or a Twilight Council rather on the side of Neeb. So MCanning will get the hallucination scout. Neeb also with the same capability in his 2 sentries soon enough, and he's gonna be poking, find a shield battery, and probably just back away.
All right, and normally when players go for the forge, that's when they know they're not going to die to anything and they don't have to worry. Or you can really start establishing that, okay, this game's probably going to go the distance. No cheeky shenanigans from either one of them going to get like a significant lead or anything. Oh, did MCanning go for the robo again? He did, look. So he really likes this robo opening just to be safe and just to be stocky, doesn't try and do fancy stuff with blink openings. Definitely worth noting that he goes about things in kind of his own style.
Yeah, for sure. Even going for the observer first as well. So he's playing kind of like, in my mind, like someone who feels like he is the favored player, right? Like he's kind of not taking any risks here. The observer even just staying back, so anticipating that Neeb could potentially be going for something like blink, or for something like DTs rather, whereas Neeb is actually going for blink.
Yeah, it's definitely funny, and he did this against Disc as well. Like, and it was so cool to see. Like, Disc couldn't really get anything done against him. So I'm very curious about how Neeb's going to try, because if you've got blink stalkers, that's all well and good, but your opponent has immortals out. He's just playing safe and solid, and he's staying on his side of the map with shield batteries, and MCanning scouting everything too. He's got a decent probe lead, even though not much has happened. I do like how MCanning sets himself up on these romanticide games.
Definitely. I also love this very offbeat pair of adepts, right? Like they're kind of just out of nowhere. They weren't there to begin, so there's no reason for Neeb to expect them really. It's offbeat, like I was saying, so they stand potential to do a lot of damage, or at least get into the third of Neeb unannounced. I expect like at least 3 or 4 probes could go down.
Yeah, definitely. I always love these weird ass blink stalker plays, interfaces, and dealing damage and whatnot. Probably just going to go for sentries and stalkers here, and that's exactly what he's going for. Oh, really going kind of deep here near the shield battery. And MCanning dealing his own damage here, picking off the sentries. That's actually a big deal because that stops all the hallucination scouts.
Yeah, very, very nice. The Shades can also continue here. MCanning, very good. Paying attention will actually net himself, looks like 3 probes at least, maybe even a 4th before these adepts go down. You can stop microing that one. He's gonna die real fast. But hey, 2 sentries and 4 probes. Amazing value out of those 2.
Yeah, this series, it's been MCanning just getting so much done with adepts every time. Like, he's doing so well with those things. Like, I would be surprised if he just continues making a couple of adepts here and there, even though it's very risky at this point. Like, they shouldn't really deal damage, but he's doing it, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Of course, Neeb has the maneuverability of this Stalker, so he has a free pass to be out on the map, even though MCanning has the stronger army should they ever fight each other. So Neeb doing the right thing here, in my opinion, to take this 4th base kind of with the map control that he's ascertained for himself, right? And now getting a lot better scouting, a lot of pylons there on the right, on the north side of the map, so that he will see things like MCanning trying to sneak in with adepts. But MCanning, once again, kind of just poking with zealots, trying to gather information. And this is kind of how it felt like he was accruing himself a disadvantage over and over again in the previous game, right? Like maybe playing a little bit too passive, maybe wasting a few too many units.
Yeah, it feels like he's just okay with being a punching bag for a while, which I'm not sure you ever want to willingly put yourself in that position, but he's doing it. And I mean, it makes Neeb feel super confident to do whatever Neeb wants. Like, Neeb's, is he going up to like 10, 12 gateways or something right now? It's definitely a lot of gateways.
Yeah, that definitely is a lot of gateways in his main. It's a huge explosion. So he's very well set up because he has done so much with this just very small squadron of stalkers, right? Like, he has had very few stalkers while getting a lot of his tech situated, while getting a lot of his infrastructure situated, his 4th situated, denying the 4th of MCanning. And like you said, I mean, MCanning, I don't know, like, yeah, a little bit of a punching bag and a little bit too willing to just sit back for too long and to be bullied by just, what, 8 stalkers, right? Like, I don't know what he could do, though.
Sometimes it feels like MCanning's the big kid on the playground, except like it's the little kid, Neeb. He's constantly poking him, and everybody's like, "Come on, man, you're way bigger than him. Come on, just hit him back." And it's like, "No, I'll be the nice, friendly guy." And it's like, "Oh man." But okay. Now the little kid just had his growth spurt, and he's coming, man. He's coming for the big kid.
It's a lot of zealots. There are some Archons here from MCanning. Luckily for him, already 3. So these zealots are going to melt on either side. I mean, not all of the Archons of Neeb really in position here, but he has so many more zealots. They're going to start punching through the zealots of MCanning. Now the battery, potentially battery overcharge available. It's actually used in the natural base. So this third, a little bit more exposed. Still 3 immortals left, but the zealots are beginning to overwhelm them. Then,
I mean, the supplies are super close, though, man. Like, if MCanning survives, he's got quite a few more probes, but will he survive? Keeping that Archon alive is actually a massive deal here. He is the big boy, dealing so much damage to these zealots, and I think he's got him, man.
yeah, unfortunately for MCanning, not enough.